Yo, 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 yo. What's up? What up, Mystical? What's good, guys? We're back here, episode 2 of the Fantasy Dads with my boy Kev. Today we're going to talk about a bunch of stuff, man. We're going to talk about the news that happened last week. We're going to talk all about quarterbacks, who we love, our top 10s, sleepers, busts, all the above. Anything you want to know about quarterbacks, feel free to ask questions in the chat. We'll answer them at the end of the show, without a doubt. Feel free to put in your input as well. Make sure you guys check us out on social media. We have an Instagram at the Fantasy Dads, and we also have a YouTube channel now. We post our episodes every Wednesday at 9 a.m. So make sure you follow that too. It's the same thing at the Fantasy Dads. So let's kick it off with some news from this week. First off, we got the DeShaun Jackson news. What you got for us, Kev?
Oh, yeah. I got D-Jax on his Instagram story firing off a fake Hitler quote. It wasn't actually a Hitler quote. That doesn't make it any better. Some anti-Semitic stuff on there.
Yeah.
So, not a good look for him.
It's very tough.
We had Julian Edelman reach out, tell him, I'll take you to the Holocaust Museum, and then a 94-year-old Auschwitz survivor invited DeShaun Jackson to Auschwitz, and he accepted that invite. So I mean, looks like he's trying to make up for that mistake. He was fined for conduct detrimental to the team by the Eagles, kind of like what happened with Riley Cooper a few years back. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember Riley Cooper. Yep.
Yeah, that was bad.
The KKK thing, right at the concert.
Yeah. Oh no, he said. He straight up dropped the N-word, bro.
Right, but didn't he get caught at the concert yelling, chanting KKK or something on the stage or some shit like that?
He might have.
I think so.
He might have. I thought he was just yelling the
Wow,
N-word.
yeah, talk about that
Either
guy.
way, it was bad. It was a bad look.
That guy disappeared off the face of the earth.
He did.
Imagine with DeShaun Jackson. I mean, it's crazy stuff, man. I mean, especially in a time like this, just drop something like that. Man, especially somebody like him too. Like, he's a very big name in the NFL. Like, I feel like a lot of players probably respect him and stuff. And
Yeah.
maybe that's why Edelman reached out to him. Maybe he just wants to make sure he's all right. Mentally. I don't know.
Well, it looks like he's not gonna be cut though.
No, they fined him, right? Didn't they drop a fine on him?
He was fined.
That's it though. No suspension.
I don't think he's gonna be cut, but I mean, I was staying away from him anyway.
Oh yeah, I mean, fantasy value is pretty much.
Wide receiver coming off. I mean, it wasn't like an ACL tear or anything. I'm pretty sure it was just core surgery, but it kept him out all year. I'm gonna stay away from that.
Yeah, I mean, they got the rookie in there
What do
now.
you think?
With DeShaun, I mean, he's a vertical threat, man. He's a boom receiver.
Yeah, he's a splash play guy. Obviously, we saw what he did in the one game that went last year, but
Yeah,
I'm just gonna stay away. This with the injury combined with I don't know. Let's stay away from that. What else we got here? The Patrick Mahomes news?
I think I had you on mute that whole time. I don't know. I think we're good though. All right. Yeah. So D-Jax. I mean, I would draft him. I just they got other guys there now. So next up, we got the Mahomes deal. Big contract. The dude gets what he deserves, man. 10 years, $503 million. $63 million of it's guaranteed through 2031. $10 million signing bonus. 124 base. It's just crazy. He's got a roster bonus of $337 million, dude. That's so much money. So much money. It's but it's well deserved. The Chiefs got their guy. I mean, in my opinion, he's the next up, man. He's next up. He's the next GOAT. You know what I mean? Like, that's the numbers he puts up. He is insanely good, insanely talented. He's the face of the NFL right now, if you had to ask me. I think it's well deserved. I mean, it's people want to know, like, would you sign a quarterback for 10 years? With
He's the only one.
With today's rules, with protecting the quarterback as much as it does, I don't think it's that crazy. You know what I mean? And for someone at his skill level, you could agree with me on that. The dude's the face of the NFL right now. Like, there's not a doubt. If he was healthy all year last year, he probably would have dropped another 50 bomb touchdowns, and that's insane. To have a guy who can just do that. and they won the Super Bowl last year. Like, it's just getting started, dude. This could be the next dynasty. You know, it's coming. You know what I mean? Like, it's coming. The Chiefs. I mean, if I had to take a bet, if there was a line that gave you had to pick the team that was most likely to be the next dynasty in the NFL, I would go with the Chiefs, 100%, because of Patrick Mahomes. So I think I have to say I'm with this. I'm with this.
And they just extended their Chris Jones on the defense too, so that helps.
Hold on, so
defense.
We got somebody in the chat. Somebody in the chat goes, much better quarterback than Mahomes. Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold.
I think we got a friend
Sam
over
Darnold
here.
is the future.
We got a troll in the chat. Nah, but yeah, man. I mean, you would sign him.
32 quarterback too.
Sam Darnold sees ghosts. Nah, but yeah. So yeah, you would sign him, right? I mean, out of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, you'd give him 10 years.
I mean, once that extension kicks in 2022, he's going to be making $45 million a year. It's not money we've seen in football yet, and it's going to set a precedent, though.
It's here.
Dak and Cowboys are so far away from him. I think he's obviously not worth what Mahomes is worth, and Lamar Jackson's not going to be worth what Mahomes is worth. The way I see it, you can't give Lamar Jackson a 10-year contract.
No, that's a topic for later. Let's save that for the end of the show, bro. That's a good little point. Right. But yeah, you gotta agree. Just see, he's got a workout bonus too, 5.6 mil. Like, what's that mean?
Every
So
season.
That means that, like, he can squat a certain amount of weight. He gets money. I mean, is that what those mean?
Honestly, I don't even know.
Right, that's something I want to look up. But yeah, what else we got? So
contracts, the wording in these contracts is a little bit more than I can really understand. But
yeah, I just took
a ton of money.
I just took the basis of it, honestly. I mean, I got like how it was distributed, and I wrote it down. 25 mil of its incentives. I mean, I don't know. At the end of the day,
a good amount of it is guaranteed money also.
Yeah. At the end of the day, I think we could both agree that we would give it to him for 10 years of the money he got. I think we can agree on that.
He's the only one. I don't think you can really argue anybody else getting it.
Yeah. All right. So next we got so this was kind of breaking news to me. If you guys watched or follow the show last week, I talked kind of about Raheem Mostert. So recently he requested to be traded from the 49ers. He wants a new contract. I mean, playoffs, he carried him to the Super Bowl. 772 yards, 8 touchdowns, averaged 6.3 on the ground in the playoffs. I mean, the Packers game, he had 4 touchdowns on the ground. All he wants is to be the highest paid running back on the team. You know, he wants the most money. He wants more money than Tevin Coleman. Tevin Coleman makes $4.5 million in 2020. As someone who was so high on Raheem Mostert going into this season, it sucked to see that, but maybe it's not as bad as it seems. You know what I mean? Maybe it's needed. Maybe he can get the $5 million or whatever it is, so they shut him up. I think he deserves it.
I think it's the wrong team though to do that too.
Yeah, I don't think Shanahan really cares as much.
Yeah, the Shanahans don't do that. They're like the inventor of running back. Doesn't matter. They're gonna plug whoever. They still have Jeff Wilson. Good, plug him in.
Jeff Wilson, dude had like 6 touchdowns. Yeah, they don't really care too much. Yeah. They'll let the next guy in. They don't really, they spend their money elsewhere.
I just don't see them paying him, and I don't know what will happen with his agent. And,
yeah.
How that'll go, but I moved him down in my rankings. I'll tell you that.
Yeah.
I moved him down.
I did as well. Unfortunately, I had him. I don't know. It's early. It's why like predictions like this, it's hard to make, but it was worth it for me. I think,
right.
Especially seeing him in the playoffs, man. Like that one game against the Packers, I'll never forget that. That was actually like insane. He tore that defense up, but
yeah. I mean, they crumbled in that game. They fell apart.
It was a monster, man.
And the Niners' offensive line was just bullying them.
I just don't see running backs in the NFL.
He looked great. He did look great.
Yeah, running backs in the NFL, it's just not working out for him right now. The money. It's just, I mean, eventually, like you have to hold out like Bell did. I don't know. It's tough.
I mean, because 3 years into a contract and they're just not the same player. The money just is not going to be there. I mean, Melvin Gordon's already. It didn't work out for him. It didn't work out for Bell.
Right.
Melvin Gordon's already kind of looking like he lost his step. So he's just not going to be there for the running backs. Don't think Mostert's going to get his money.
Yeah, I don't think so either. He's probably going to have to either. I don't know. Because they just won't play him.
They drafted a running back.
They drafted a running back. They got Jerick McKinnon coming back. The
McKinnon is technically still on the team as well. He hasn't played in 2 years, but
the Ghost McKinnon. But but Shanahan doesn't care though. You know what I mean? Like he'll let McKinnon practice.
Any one of those guys.
And if he proves himself, he'll play him. So. We'll see with Mostert. It kind of hurt me because I was pumped off that prediction. I was ready to rock it the whole season, but
Michael Hasty they drafted.
The Michael Hasty.
Watch him come in and ultra regal line.
It could be a name. That's just what it is in San Fran, though. They had Jeff Wilson.
It doesn't really matter which one it's going to be. That team is going to be great.
That Jeff Wilson guy, he was a fantasy starter last year. You know what I mean? Like they don't care. So for fantasy-wise, if Mostert plays, I'm still with him. But I think after requesting a trade like this, he pretty much put himself in the doghouse. So he might not even see the field now. So it's definitely something you got to really look into.
If he does get traded, right? What team out there do you think he would step in and immediately have the kind of role he has in San Francisco?
Detroit Lions. I think he instantly becomes the best, the best running back of Detroit.
He drafted Swift.
Nah, he's still better than Swift. I think Mostert's way better than Swift, dude.
You think Matt Patricia's just going to hand the keys to Raheem Mostert?
Could. He's trying to prove himself as a head coach. I don't know, man. There's things like that, though, that make you a good head coach. You take a risk like that. You know what I mean? And then it pays off. If it doesn't pay off, then they end up being bad like they are anyway. But anyway, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think he's going to get traded, if you really want me to be honest. He might have just earned himself nothing, and they're going to be like, all right, well, then hold out, or... play.
You're not going to play?
We're not going to play, yeah. So.
Or you play for what we're going to give you.
Right.
But.
Yeah, but Detroit's probably the only team, I think. I'm trying to brainstorm now. I'm sitting here. I don't think so. But anyway, so next up, we're going to talk a little bit about COVID, I guess. So they had a meeting today to talk about some of the things they've been trying to get under, going. Daily testing. They want no preseason. They want a longer training camp, and then they have to talk about how they're going to do the money for lost revenue and stuff like that. So all the talks that happened in the NBA that ended up making that long waiting period for him to start back up this month, it's what's happening now in the NFL. And the Players Association is starting to speak out and stuff, and the players are starting to speak out. People are starting to become more concerned. This is just stuff that was probably already going on in the background. They just didn't tell us about it. You know what I mean? You had to have been. It'd be crazy for them to just, these talks didn't start today. You know what I'm trying to say? Or recently. They started a while back, and we just didn't hear about it until now. So it's making it seem like it was all good and bad. All good and good. Everybody was like, oh, football's going to happen. NFL is going to power right through it. It's not an issue. But now this is starting to happen, and people are going to start to notice that it's not going to be as easy as they think. And the NFL might, it could be as cloudy as any other sport. There's going to be something. Something has to come out. They had that little helmet thing today that I didn't really read into the helmet thing. I was at work, but I don't know. Shield, yeah. I saw a mock-up of it a while back. Somewhere it was just a thing, but something came out today, I guess, legitimately, a proposal to fix the helmet, so it would be COVID friendly or something. I don't know, but it's crazy.
Every day we have new players in the NBA and MLB that are testing positive.
Well,
still, that's not a great sign.
No, it's not. That's gonna happen.
We're a month away.
It's gonna happen.
Season.
It's gonna happen. That's one thing, though. The NBA, though, out of the 322 tests they did, only 2 NBA players had the COVID. So that's pretty good numbers. But the rosters in the NBA aren't nearly as big as the NFL. Like the NFL, I mean, that's something you probably have to talk about. But then it just changes the environment of the game. Like it just becomes not football. You take roster spots away and stuff.
It's going to be strange
tough,
also. I mean,
because you can't bubble.
It's arguable that the NFL has like the biggest home field advantage. And if fans or even like 20% capacity at some of the stadiums, it's really going to change the games.
Right.
Like, the home field advantage isn't really going to be there for a lot of these teams.
Right.
It's going to be interesting.
Like we've been to Gillette in the playoffs, dude. It's just that has to have an impact on the other team. If you don't got fans now, those upsets might not happen. You know what I mean? Those
right.
wild card teams might not beat. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. So the COVID, it's gonna play an impact. It's gonna be different. It's gonna be a different year of football. It might be different in fantasy because of it. Right, but we're not gonna talk about that dark time because we're just gonna roll with this though. We're not gonna talk about those dark periods that could happen. We're good because that would just end the show. We'd have to just end it, and that's not gonna happen. So we're gonna pretend that we still got time. But no, well, I said the NFLPA is starting to speak out. And actually, Sam Acho today, he had something to say about it. He wants to postpone the season. He says he doesn't see any possibility of the NFL teams playing this year with 90-man rosters and no bubble access and stuff like that. So it's gonna be tough. I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to read. The more I read into it, the more I'm just like, it's not going to happen. Because, I don't know, man. It's when you got the NFLPA coming out and saying stuff like that, that's got to make you a little nervous. And they got these players coming out saying they won't play. And that ain't good. That ain't good. But, I mean, that's it for the news, I think, right? I think we're good with that, dude.
I think so.
That's it, man. So let's get into the rankings, bro.
Well, not really fantasy relevant, but
what do you got?
Washington's finally changing their name.
Oh, true.
Go with that.
That's right.
Gonna see a new team name.
The Red Tails? Is that what I heard?
We don't know yet.
No, I know, but wasn't there?
One of them, but
wasn't Red Tails one of the ones they were talking about?
It's one of them, but some guy in Virginia bought every one of their possible options, and he has the copyrights to them now, so it's going to be a battle. I honestly think it would be hilarious if they enter the season as just a football team from Washington with a generic helmet and no logo.
Right. All right, let's do it, man. We're getting into the top 10 here. Yeah, dude, quarterback rankings. Let's go. Let's get it. All right, there we go. So these are our top 10s right now. We will let you know right now that Kevin did adjust his, and I made these graphics, and I'm not remaking them right now. So right here is what we got. This is the most up-to-date one I had when I made this. Mine hasn't changed, but we both kind of agree for the most part with the top three, and then we kind of stagger around everywhere else. I love Patty Mahomes this year.
I put Dak up to 4, Russ at 5, and put Josh Allen down to 6, but that's about it.
So nothing crazy. We all got generally the same guys in the top 10, just in different spots.
I mean, that's across the board too. This is how most people's lists look.
Yeah, the top 3 at least.
Speaks into a lot of.
Top 3. You want Sam Darnold, says Tino? No. Actually, we don't talk about Sam Darnold on this show. You're going to have to wait till the AFC East preview to hear about Sam Darnold.
I would need to be in a 4 QB league to even think about it, Tino.
All right.
Yeah, super flex league.
All right, so now I'm just going to talk about Kyler Murray real quick, dude. This is my favorite guy this year, as you guys already know. I've been preaching his name everywhere, man. I love what possibilities he has in Arizona, man. I can't say it enough, man. DeAndre Hopkins is huge. A huge addition. I know we talked about it last week, but getting a guy at that level and giving him to I think future MVP of the NFL at least once. This kid is insanely skilled. Number 1 pick of the draft last year. He came out of the NFL didn't pop off. You know what I mean? He didn't go off for like 38 touchdowns, 32 touchdowns, whatever it is. But he had a decent year for the situation he was in. I mean, he had 20 touchdowns throwing. He did have his 12 interceptions, but that's a new offense with a new coach, brand new quarterback in the NFL. You got to put those into consideration. He ran the ball almost 100 times. So he's going to get the carries on the ground still. He already came out and said that he's going to scramble more, which is awesome. Like that adds more value to him. His accuracy is only going to get better. I mean, and you got a guy like Larry Fitzgerald, you got Christian Kirk, you got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Kenyon Drake proved himself to be a top-tier running back. Like, he came out and just dominated right off the rip. And then Chase Edmonds showed that he can be a baller too. They got a nice team. Who's their tight end?
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter, right? I mean, I don't even think they use a tight end. They don't need to. You don't need to. If
Hopkins, Kirk, Fitz, Keyshawn Johnson, Butler, Andy Isabella, and the list goes on.
Hakeem Butler's a name to remember, dude. That guy was a second-round pick.
Play last year.
He sat out last year because his leg. But I mean, that dude's 6'7".
Andy Isabella didn't really play last year either. But
UMass
guy to look out for.
They got offense. They're going to be exciting. They're going to be electric. They're going to score. Kingsbury wants to score. He wants to prove that he can be an offensive quarterback in the NFL. He's got the guy to do it, man. Their offensive line got better. He's going to run more. He's not going to make... I mean, his 12 interceptions is going to go down. I mean, his deep ball was 5th in the NFL last year as a rookie without really a speedster. You know what I mean? He didn't really have a deep ball guy. Now you got one of the guys who's going to go up and get the ball every time. DeAndre Hopkins will not drop the ball. This team could be a dark horse team in that really hard division. It's a really hard division, but they score points. More recently, they've started to develop offenses rather than defenses in that division. Between Seattle and the Rams. I don't know. I'm expecting big numbers, man. Really big numbers. I got them 4,800 passing yards at least with 28 passing touchdowns. I give them 6 inties. Couple on the ground, dude, about 4 or 5 maybe at most. These are at most numbers, dude. I mean, I could definitely see him running in at least 5 times. Maybe like 600 on the ground, dude. Like 378 points. I got him at quarterback number 3 right now. That's a fair spot. I mean, I don't really know where else where I could put him. You can't put him 1. As much as I would love to, I can't. I can't put him ahead of Mahomes. It's or Lamar. It's tough. It's a tough thing. But who knows? Maybe by the start of the season, he could be bumped up to 2. Who knows? I mean, he could be a better version of Lamar. He's not as fast as Lamar, but he can scramble and he can throw. So we'll see. We'll see. You like him? You got him number 3 too. I think that's just where he is.
I like him a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, they showed at the end of the year last year they ran a little bit more, but that could just open everything else up in the offense.
It's going to only help.
I think Drake has the big year, and if the offense can be more efficient, they had some trouble scoring last year in the red zone. So if they improve there, his numbers will be huge.
Right.
They're going to be fun to watch.
I can't believe they got Hopkins for David Johnson. But that's huge. That's huge. All right, so next up, you're going to talk about Russ.
Talk a little bit about Russ. I mean, there isn't much to say about Russ because he just does it every year. It seems like no matter what. He's just a stud. Last year he had another 4,110 yards. Second most of his career. That's crazy. 31 touchdowns, only 5 interceptions. That's the least of his career. He's been a top 8 quarterback 5 out of the last 6 years. He added another 342 on the ground with 3 touchdowns, QB4. I mean, there's nothing but consistency there with Russ. I got him 5, but he's just one of those guys who could always threaten to be the QB1.
He really
Metcalf
could.
Is an absolute beast. Tyler Lockett, just another guy.
Metcalf. I love Metcalf this year.
And the running backs, there's some question marks with the running backs this year. Carson coming off a hip. Penny probably going to start on the pup.
I feel like I feel like he never has a running back, though, besides Beast Mode. I feel like that's the only running back he's ever really had in his career, so. don't know.
I mean, he's just gonna have to do it himself again. Put the team on his back. He's
So
gonna
it,
go for over 4,000 yards and 30 touchdowns. He's gonna add some on the ground. Probably gonna 5. It's just consistent.
it's
And
fair.
the defense isn't what it used to be. I mean, he's been putting these numbers up even when they had the Legion boom. I mean, the defense is a shell of what it used to be.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's gonna have to throw it, air it out a little bit.
Yeah, I like the Seahawks as always. They're always a decent team.
I
Russell
think they're gonna be
Wilson.
as run heavy as they were last year.
Yeah, I got Russell number 5. So I'm right there with you. You could argue 4 for him if you really wanted to. You could argue 3 for
Yeah,
him.
I think him and Dak are kind of him, Dak and Kyler are kind of
I think,
point flip, really.
yeah,
I mean,
I agree.
after you get out of that first tier, Lamar and Mahomes, it's kind of a toss up just the guy you prefer. Even back to like Watson.
Yeah, that's my next guy.
Watson ties 3, depending on how you feel about him. I'm lower on him this year, but you're going to talk about him next, aren't you?
Yeah, it's perfect lead in there, dude. You're fire.
Right.
No, Watson, yeah. He was my quarterback in league of record last year. I am always on the DeShaun Watson train. He is a athlete. He is a freak in the pocket. He did lose D-Hop. I understand that. But his deep ball is incredibly accurate. It's 42% last year. Almost 50% of his deep balls were caught. Right behind Kyler Murray, actually. But way more attempts. He had 3,800 passing yards. He had 26 passing touchdowns. He ran the ball 92 times, 400 yards, 7 on the ground. I mean, he added. They brought in Randall Cobb. They brought in what's his name? They got Will Fuller. They got Kenny Stills. Brandon Cooks, Kiki Kuti. I mean, they got stacked receivers. He's still going to be able to air the ball out. Is what he does best. And
are they stacked though, right?
I think so. I mean, they're not DeAndre Hopkins, but if they stay healthy, though, they have to stay healthy. So this is all.
Is guaranteed.
I know.
To have like 3 touchdowns in the first game he plays, and then immediately hurt his hamstring. And
yeah.
Brandon Cooks is possibly 1 concussion away from never playing football again. So that's why I have him down at 7. But
7. He's still good. But I got him 6. He's definitely the start of the tier 3, in my opinion. I'm just saying, at number 6, you can't really go wrong. As a tier, we got him with Watson. You got Baker. Tom Brady, Drew Brees. Those names are just they're just the same. You know what I mean? You're gonna get what you get out of them. Watson, he can at least run the ball. He's going to have to run the ball more, in my opinion, this year, even with the addition of David Johnson. I think the team's going to ask him to do more with the offense because they lost DeAndre Hopkins. So, I could still see some high numbers in fantasy this year. At least almost, I got him at 298 points. Puts him at my quarterback 6. A little digression. I got him at 24 passing touchdowns and 3,500 yards passing. Because you lose that guy, that Diop, dude, that's his. Honestly, that's his number 1 receiver his whole career. So it's definitely gonna hurt losing him. It's definitely gonna hurt. So but little digression. If those guys can stay healthy for him this year, that's all I can really go off right now. They'll be fine with his deep ball accuracy. It's gonna hit. When Will Fuller was healthy last year, bro, we had games we had 4 touchdowns, 3 touchdowns. He catches the deep ball, 200 something yards.
For a game or 2.
And then, it's still early, too, in training camp. You never know who can emerge, who can sign somewhere. You never know. Maybe Antonio Brown goes to the Texans.
AB.
But
what if AB joined Seattle?
Yeah, that would boost Russell probably number
AB,
3.
DK, and Tyler Lockett.
EBT's in tier 1.
Yeah.
But
they take Russell Wilson.
We're not going to talk about AB. You're gonna jump into a combo here. I think this guy's probably tier 3 as well. He might be right behind. He's right behind DeShaun Watson on mine. That's Josh Allen.
I got him ahead of Watson because of what he's been doing with his legs.
Yep. Yeah, we got him flip flopped actually.
Yeah.
I think so. I like him.
My guy, Josh Allen. 3,089 yards passing, 20 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. 510 rushing yards on 109 attempts. 9 touchdowns. He finished as a QB7.
Yeah.
Obviously, his deep ball was 30th in the league. Like, he's just slinging it up there to nobody. But they add Stephon Diggs, so I don't think he's going to be...
I wouldn't say nobody. I wouldn't say nobody. Yeah, John Brown.
John. I just meant he was slinging it to nobody. Like, he was just throwing it up.
Throwing goose eggs.
Accurately, you know what I'm saying? Like, but he's not going to do that this year. He has a guy like Stephon Diggs who's going to get over 100 targets. And in the short to intermediate part of the field, he's going to be a target hog. That will open up the deep ball a little bit more, I think. Maybe he'll hit a little bit more of those home runs to John Brown. I think Diggs, they're already working out together. I think it helps him a lot.
Yeah.
And even though last year he still struggled, he did improve on his completion percentage and his QB rating. So I think adding a guy like Stephon Diggs stands to reason that he's going to improve on every stat again this year. If he can take that leap and be a little bit more efficient, he's just another guy to throw in that tier. He can be a stud.
His accuracy.
2 years in a row, he got 8 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns rushing.
That's what's going to save him.
He ran the ball 109 times. If he comes even close to that and can improve his passing a little bit, he's going to be great. I have him at 6.
Yeah. I got him
for about 3,400 yards, 26 passing touchdowns. The interceptions will probably stay the same. And even if he regresses down to like 7 rushing touchdowns, he's still going to have the yards. About 500 or 600 rushing yards. I got him at my QB 6 right now.
Yeah. I mean, if I had to disagree with anything, his accuracy needs to be better. You know,
right.
If he can't hit these guys deep, he's not really. I mean, I think he his legs are gonna save him this year a lot. They don't really have a goal line back, you know, but I think that's gonna be him.
They had that loss.
Yeah, they had.
But to be the Gore.
They can want all they want, but I think I'd rather have Josh Allen on the ball, and you know.
Josh, he's still gonna get close to double-digit touchdowns on the ground.
Yeah, I think that's what saves him, though. I mean, it's that keeps him in my top 10, just his ability to get touchdowns in the red zone. So, yeah, it's a good. I agree with that. I agree with that, bro. All right.
His completion percentage up a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, even if you get it to like in the mid 60s, bro, it's improvement. I mean,
last year was 58. Yeah, I mean, we can even get it 260, 61. I mean, we'll see all his numbers come up.
Yeah.
And Diggs might be the guy to do it for him. He's never had a receiver like that, so.
That's true. I mean, Diggs is a one of a kind too. He's top. He's good.
Kind of a baller.
He can ball. He can ball for sure. He had over 1,000 yards last year. Did you know that?
He didn't even have 100 targets. I believe I heard today that he's the only wide receiver to ever do that. To have 1,100 yards on not even 100 targets.
Yeah.
He's a baller.
So next we're gonna do the sleepers real quick. I got some interesting ones here. Honestly, I'll go first with Drew Lock. Drew Lock. He showed me last year in those 5 games. I think he can ball, man. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league. I think he kind of reminds me of like Phillip Rivers, dude. He's going to be able to throw the ball. He's going to sling it, you know, and he's got that attitude. I don't know. I like Locke. He's got the studs on offense for him. He's got Sutton. He's got they drafted Judy. They got the tight ends. They got Font. They signed Melvin Gordon. Their offensive line's getting better. I like Drew Lock a lot this year. I think with the small sample size we had last year and how much he had 7 touchdowns. I mean, that's pretty good. Didn't have much passing yards. Only had 1,000, but it's I like him as a sleeper. I got him number 16 right now. He's currently getting picked in like the 13th round, so that puts him like a tier 5 or 6 quarterback. So I mean, it's not a guy you might have to draft, but it's a guy who could make some noise this off in the training camp, and you could be hearing a lot of things about Drew Lock, and he might move up on a lot of boards, and he might become a top 15 quarterback going into the draft season. So it's just a guy to keep your eye on. I think he's a sleeper this year. I think he might. I got him at 16. I mean that's low for me. I honestly think that he could finish higher than that, but I got him at 16. So yeah, keep your eye on Drew Lock. He's got the talent around him on offense, man. I mean, Sutton and Judy, that's going to be a nice combo over in Denver. With that tight end Font, have another year under his belt. Yeah. And then you got, who do you got?
Oh, I got a couple good ones, man.
Yeah, your first one's what? Daniel Jones.
Danny Dimes?
Danny Jones?
Daniel Jones. Mr. Dimes. So last year, in only 12 starts, as the corpse of Eli Manning was still around, 3,027 yards, 24 TDs, 12 picks. That says 270 rushing yards, 45 rushing, 2 rushing touchdowns. And a lot of his weapons were hurt for a good chunk of the year. I mean, Barkley went down, Ingram was down, Shepard had the concussion issues, and he made Darius Slayton become a name to look out for this season. A little bit of a wide receiver sleeper. And Golden Tate's there also. So if the weapons can stay a little bit more healthy this year, and with a guy like Saquon Barkley in the backfield, and I think he's got a pretty high ceiling. It's just he needs to be more careful with the ball. Yeah, he fumbled a lot last year.
Right.
That's going to be an issue. But Lamar had that problem his first year, too. I'm not going to say Daniel Jones is Lamar Jackson, not even close. But just be a little bit more aware in the pocket, scramble, get rid of the ball. He finished QB 24 last year. It's pretty terrible, but it was only 12 starts. I think he can make some noise. I don't think he could be right outside of QB1. I have him as a QB 16.
Yeah, I think I'm trying to count.
A little bit more this year. The offense should be efficient.
I got him 14.
Quan. You got him 14?
Mm-hmm.
If they should be able to move the ball pretty well. I think a 2 QB league, I'd be looking to grab Daniel Jones as my second quarterback.
I mean, honestly, if I'm going to be honest with you, man, I like Daniel Jones as well this year. I can't really disagree with the Daniel Jones.
You can probably stream him this year also.
I was just going to say, that's a guy, division's kind of weak, and that's big. It's big. It's, 2, 4, 6 games you schedule? No, more than that. No, yeah, 6. So, I mean, play the Redskins twice.
You got Eagles, Redskins in there?
Yeah. So, I mean, he's got the talent around him. I wouldn't mind him.
Definitely some games you pop him in there if you're hurting a QB.
He's a guy you could pair. You could pair him up with like a Ryan Tannehill or something like that, and and then maybe he can end up being a quarterback one option for you, and you won't even have to worry about streaming. He's worth it. That's a good one. That was a good pick by you. I like that. My next one's kind of is a household name. It's Phillip Rivers, man. Phillip Rivers is a stud. He's going to Indy. He's going to have an offensive line that can finally block for him. He's going to have some solid weapons. I mean, he's leaving behind Keenan Allen and Hunter Henry and his boy Eckler. But that's all he really had over in L.A. He didn't really have anything else on offense. He's going over to Indy, very young team. Phenomenal offensive line, probably the best in the NFL, maybe top 3, but they're definitely a top-tier offensive line. They draft Jonathan Taylor. They draft Michael Pittman. They give him 2 young weapons that are going to be filthy. With T.Y. Hilton, Paris Campbell, Pascal. They had Marcus Johnson. Just a bunch of good, talented receivers, especially T.Y. Hilton. I think if, the tight end's Jack Doyle. I mean, he's a solid tight end. Mo Alley Cox. Red zone killers, dude. They're going to be a decent team, Indy. I like Phillip Rivers this year. I'm not going to say he'll end up being your every week starter because we know what Phillip Rivers is, but I just feel like every year he gets slept on a little bit just because he has a high interception rate. He throws his picks. He has his really ugly games, but I don't know. I feel like he's a guy that you can always kind of like put in. Like if say you draft, I don't know, we'll say Lamar Jackson. You pick Lamar Jackson, your first quarterback. You don't pick a quarterback the rest of the draft, and Philip Rivers is sitting there. That's a good insurance. It's an insurance quarterback right there for you, man. And he's a guy you could probably start on Jackson's bye week, or if he gets hurt, you have a solid quarterback to put in there, and he might put up those numbers from the past when he finishes a top 10 quarterback. You never know. He easily could. He easily could pop off at 35 touchdowns. He's got a running back. He's got 4 running backs. He's got Nyheim Hines. He's got Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack. So, I mean, he's going to have offense. Like I said, he's got the O-line. So, don't sleep on Philip Rivers. Never sleep on Philip Rivers. And he's a competitor. And their division's weak, too, outside the Titans. So, defensive-wise. I mean, it's score city on that. So, I mean, yeah, I like Philly Rivers. I got him at number 18. Last year, actually, what's funny? Last year, he was actually 4th in the NFL in passing yards. Almost 40, he had 4,600 passing yards last year. So, I mean, convert those and some of those drives into touchdowns, he probably finishes higher than he did. So, I like Philip Rivers. Always do. You like him at all?
I agree with basically everything you said. He's just one of those guys, one of those solid guys. You can kind of always pop him in there as a streamer, or if your quarterback gets hurt. I don't think he's not going to ruin your team.
Right.
Especially on that team should be able to move the ball. They're going to run a lot though. I mean, he's not going to have those passing yards. He's not going to get to that level.
Yeah.
Passing yards, but he'll be solid enough.
Yeah, I don't know. I like him. I like the way he throws the ball too. I like T.Y. Hilton a lot. So I think if he can make Jacoby Brissett, who I think is a mediocre passer, give him Philip Rivers, I don't know. But next up, you got Gardner Minshew. The mustache mania,
Gardner
bro.
Minshew.
Mustache mania.
Believe it or not, I mean, QB 21 last year. Once again, he only started 12 games. And his numbers were really not as bad as I thought they were. Right? 3,271 yards, 21 touchdowns, only 6 picks. And he ran for 344 yards. He actually had the 4th best deep ball completion percentage in the NFL. I mean, I didn't think his numbers were that good. I mean, it's nothing phenomenal, but I think the personality is obviously there. The guy's fun. And he's got DJ Chark, who I think is going to take a leap this year, too. He's a guy to look out for.
They got
had Laviska Shenault, too, coming in. Stud. On the other side, Dede in the slot. Leonard Fournette couldn't score from the 1-yard line last year, at all. Terribly inefficient. So, if he can be better there, everyone gets better. They're going to be chasing points. Defense is rebuilding. There's just another guy, kind of like Danny Dimes, in a pinch. You want to stream a quarterback. Your quarterback's injured. He's a guy that, in the right matchup, could definitely put up some numbers.
Do you know that they're projected to be the worst team in the NFL this year?
Of course they are.
So, I think they got... all right. Minshew. I love the guy. I really do. I wouldn't pick him this year. I'm staying away from Minshew this year. Stay away from the Minshew hype.
I'm not telling you to draft him.
No, I know. I'm just saying. I can't get behind him. I like what he can do for DJ Chark. DJ Chark is a top 15 receiver for me. So I like Chark's upside and with the targets he's gonna get. But I just don't think Minshew can turn into a starting quarterback in fantasy football. Unless there's some crazy injuries that happen like we had last year and he finds himself in on a couple good matchups here and there. But I'm staying away from Minshew. And
this one was fun because you took Drew Lock. I wanted to talk about Drew Lock.
Oh, I took Lock on you?
You took Lock. So I had to.
No,
It's
dude.
crumbling.
Honestly,
That
he's
that's
worth
the fun
talking
with
about.
Minshew.
He's worth talking about. I mean, he definitely he has the potential, I guess you could say. Um, but I don't know. Jaguars in general, I think Fournette's a bum. I don't really feel like their team's good at
Yeah,
all.
I don't
Besides DJ
understand how he was
Chark.
off the goal line so many times last year either. I mean, and he somehow caught 75 passes.
Yeah,
So Fournette's not going to do that this year.
he was
Obviously, yeah,
relevant.
Chris Thompson.
He was relevant because of Minshew dumping in the ball. I yeah, I don't know. We'll see. He's gonna lose a lot of those targets. Chris Thompson's a good addition. That could be good for him. Some of those dump offs could turn into touchdowns now
But
because he's got
Chark's
a
going to
good.
be a stud. I think Minshew's numbers come up, but like you said, you're not going to plug him in unless you have to.
Like I would say right now, I would start Danny Dimes. Like I wouldn't draft a quarterback, and I'd be okay going into week one with Danny Dimes at quarterback. I don't think I'd be okay going into week one having Minshew and somebody else.
Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
He's more of a he's a super flex league guy, 2 QB league,
okay,
or like last option kind of guy.
all right. I like the guy. I think Minshew's cool. I think he brings wicked good persona to Jacksonville. He's
got
definitely
good energy.
yeah, he's definitely going to carry that team through a very bad season. And I think he's down with it. I don't think he gives a shit.
They also kept their coach.
Yeah, I think it's on
Everybody
purpose.
else, but Marone is still there. I don't know. They're just always a mess somehow.
I feel bad. They had that one team the Pats put in the
Was
dirt.
it 2 years ago, yeah, that was it. They probably should have beat us too.
Yep, they would have went to the Super Bowl. Maybe
Honestly.
that's insane to even think about.
Yeah, it's just back to the same. They're just back to being a mess. But anyway, let me get into some busts now.
Yeah, let's get into some busts, some stay away hype, dude. I probably gonna get yelled at for a few of these. I think I'm kind of reaching on one of them.
I think so.
But I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna ride the train, dude. Carson Wentz, he's a bum. I'm not a fan of him this year. I'm not a fan of Philly. I think Philly's junk. Last year Wentz was. I mean, he finished quarterback 11. With nobody. I understand that. I mean, his own line's older. He's older. His injuries lurk him. He always gets hurt at inopportune times. It's gonna eventually kill his morale. I don't. I mean, this could be a reach for me. A lot of people have this guy in their top 10, top 5. I am staying away from Wentz. I don't like the fact that they drafted Jalen Hurts. That makes me nervous about Carson Wentz. I think they're starting to lose faith in Carson Wentz. I think they're starting to look towards the future. So I think one hiccup, Wentz goes on a bad stretch of games and he throws 4 interceptions, 3 interceptions. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. I think then that's when the Philly fan base chants for Hurts to come in, and then that's it for Carson Wentz. He gets dealt somewhere else or something like that. It's sad to say. I think his arm strength is definitely digressing. He's not. His number one target is Alshon Jeffrey. How long is that guy? I mean, how long is he going to be relevant in the NFL? Eventually, he's going to fall off. That could be this year. And then he's thrown into a slot receiver. Yeah, right. Didn't he already get hurt?
He's coming off an injury from last year.
Right.
I saw that he might actually start on the PUP. I mean, he's just one of those guys who I'm never gonna have on my team.
So who's his number one receiver now, right? You know what I mean? So it's
gotta be
a slot receiver.
DeShaun Jackson.
I mean,
DeShaun Jackson. No, Jalen Rager. It's gonna be the guy.
Zach Ertz, his number one target.
Yeah, the reality is his tight ends are his number one receivers. Miles Sanders is gonna catch the balls.
That takes away from his upside, though. I think they become more of a short. I don't know.
Look, I don't know how he did it last year.
Well, he did it because of Zach Ertz.
QB 10 or 11, you said, with Greg Ward was like his number one receiver for half the year. So he did it with.
Did it with nothing, yeah.
So, I mean, that's like his floor, though, man. So if he can have something that Rager can be and is there. And let's say Artega Whiteside can step in and actually do something this year and The running backs, you're going to have Miles Sanders, Boston Scott, the 2 tight ends. I mean, you could still easily throw for 4,000 yards. I'm probably not going to draft it. That's because of the way I deal with quarterbacks, but
Yeah, he's in the
I
tier
don't
three.
tell people to stay away from him.
I think he's in tier 3 right now. He probably starts it off with. It's a big drop off, honestly, in my opinion.
Yeah, it
You know,
is.
you get into the
He's not going to have the rushing upside either.
right. I mean, you probably drop him off after Breeze, or I mean, even Baker. I got him after Baker. So I mean, yeah, I'm just the middle class of the quarterbacks in the NFL right now are kind of scaring me. I mean, it makes you like want to draft guys early, because they're so solidified and guaranteed to have that job. But as you get later in the draft, dude, and I mean later in the quarterbacks, the tiers, the lower you go, it gets kind of shaky. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. I think if I don't get Lamar or Mahomes, because they're just going too early, I think sometimes.
yeah,
Probably gonna pick Dak, Russ, or Kyler, Josh Allen, one of those guys there. If I don't get one of them, I'm not sure where I'm gonna go with it.
right. That's when you get into the Carson
Wentz.
Wentz.
Guys, I could grab Breeze, Matt Ryan, Tom Brady.
Or you could go with this guy, Big Ben.
Oh, Big Ben. I've seen him rank pretty high in some people's rankings. I'm staying away from Big Ben forever. He looked like Robin Williams in Jumanji.
R.I.P.
Very recently. R.I.P. Robin Williams.
Show the man some respect, bro.
R.I.P. Robin Williams. Of comedy. And tarnished his name with Ben Roethlisberger.
That was funny. I read that.
Ago,
I read that in your notes, and I cracked up.
I know, I saw that. He popped the RIP in there. Somehow 2 years ago, Big Ben had like his best passing season ever, and it just doesn't make any sense to me. I looked it up. Antonio Brown had 15 touchdown catches that year, so I mean, you're not going to have that. And he's not getting any younger. He's huge. He's just lumbering. I don't think he's going to be breaking the tackles he used to break.
Lumbering around.
Now. Dude, I can't do it, man. I think he's going to play maybe 6 games, 7 games this year. I just don't think he has it in him anymore. I don't even really have the stats to back this up because he didn't play last year, but this is purely my thoughts on Big Ben. I'm all set with it. The defense is great too, so I don't think they really need to have him throw the ball 1.5 million times.
Here's my thing with Ben. With Ben, he's got a guy who fell on his face last year, Juju Smith-Schuster.
Juju could have a huge year. That doesn't mean I'm interested in Big Ben.
Juju. But Deontay Johnson had no problem last year playing with Dalvin Hodges and Mason Rudolph. So it makes you nervous. Who's Big Ben's number one? You know, he's gonna go into a season with a guy who couldn't do good with bad quarterbacks and a guy who could do good with bad quarterbacks. So who you think really is your number one? You know what I mean? You know what I'm trying to say?
He's still gonna be Juju.
Who's he?
Because they've played together, they have the chemistry.
We'll see, man. I don't know. I don't know.
I like Deontay Johnson. That's a name to stash away.
It's but I mean,
I don't think he's really a sleeper anymore. Everybody's kind of on that, but
Big Ben.
I just don't like Big Ben. I just can't trust it.
And they drafted a quarterback, no?
Did not.
Well, they're going with Mason Rudolph. That's right. They said that. So I mean, I don't know. I don't know if he can bounce back from the injury season he had last year and come back to what he was without Antonio Brown. So
looking the way he was looking.
I'm with you on that. I'd stay away from him.
I mean, he's not like the Drew Brees and Tom Brady. He doesn't take care of himself the way they do, and he's just going to hurt himself again. Even if he plays 10 games, it's just, why bother when you can have someone with a little more upside, a little younger.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, stay away, Big Ben. Next, probably another one people aren't going to agree with, but maybe a few will. That's Aaron Rodgers. A lot of you know that I was a big Aaron Rodgers guy. Pretty much his whole career in fantasy football. I loved getting A-Rod. He was always a top-tier quarterback. Up till last year, even last year was considered. Even this year, people still got him in the top 5. But I am staying away from Aaron Rodgers this year. It's probably the first year I could sit here and confidently say I'm not going to draft him. His health is digressing. He's starting to get hurt more. He's starting to complain about nagging injuries every year, more and more. They drafted Jordan Love. That makes you nervous right off the rip. He's going into year 16. He's got a young coach who's ready to maybe change it up. You know what I mean? And try to build. It's Devontae Adams has pretty much been carrying him on his back, making unbelievable plays for him for the past 2 years. I just don't see him finishing the year as a starter in Green Bay. He is not elite anymore. Tino, you were correct. He hasn't been elite. It's true. The numbers show. Last year, he finished quarterback 9 last year. He only had 26 touchdowns. That was a digression from 30. I think it was 30 from the year before. And they didn't really give him any help this offseason. They drafted a running back. He's going to have Aaron Jones taking a lot of his throws away. He's going to be run. I think they're going to run a lot more. I don't know. I just don't see Aaron Rodgers being anywhere near the tier 2 or tier 3 that a lot of people probably think he's going to be. So I stay far away from Aaron Rodgers this year. And his division sucks. It's tough, as in just tough division games every year. You know what I mean? So, I don't know. I'm staying away. You taking him this year? I got him under Carson Wentz, actually. They're right next to each other in my rankings.
I gotta still have him in my top 10, but it's probably another one that I'm just not gonna draft.
Yeah, he's in that old man range.
You have to rank him there, but like you said, they drafted a bruiser. They definitely want to run the ball more.
They're gonna have 3 running backs that can handle the workload. So, I think what scares me the most is them drafting Love.
Unless he turns Allen Lazard into an absolute monster, it's just gonna be all Devontae Adams again.
That's all he's got.
He doesn't really have the rushing upside that he used to have. So I see where you're coming from.
It's unfortunate though, because he's a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? So it sucks. But then you got Baker is your next one.
Oh yeah, Baker.
I think this is one that a lot of people aren't gonna like. Let's hear it.
Why though?
Let's disagree.
Alright, so I have him here until he can prove me wrong. Just do it. 2 years ago he did it when there was no expectations really. He coming in as a rookie, he had all the energy, looked great. And
yeah.
Last year they give him. He has Nick Chubb, he has Kareem Hunt, he has Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, all on the same team, and he took a giant dump everywhere. Every single stat he could go down, and he went down. Could definitely have been the coach. Definitely could have been the O-line, but he had no leadership. He just looked terrible. Now this year, you bring in Stefanski, he wants to be run heavy. I love Chubb, I love Hunt. I don't like Baker. He just didn't make the most of his talent last year. And he's a questionable year. I want him to prove me wrong. He had 21 interceptions last year. And 3 more starts. Started all 16 games last year. His rookie year, he played 13. And he still managed to be worse in every statistical category.
Yeah.
But until he can prove me wrong, even if the team does better, I'm not buying into Baker. I think I have him ranked 15th.
Yeah, I think Baker takes a step forward this year personally. I got him at right under Drew Brees, which would be 12th. I have him 12th. So I think Odell has a bounce back year in himself, which would make Baker a better player. They got Jarvis Landry, Austin Hooper. They added Conklin on the offensive line. I think they're gonna be a lot better than people think. I think they might even finish over 500. Last year I made a bet with somebody saying they'd be under 500 because Kitchens is a terrible coach, and I was right, and Kitchens is gone. This could be the time the Browns actually sit back and like, you know what, we need to capitalize on a good draft pick. We cannot let this one slip away too, otherwise our franchise will just be done. I think you got to let Baker take the reins. I think he comes in, dude. I think he's gonna be a fringe quarterback one this year. I wouldn't necessarily.
You're confident.
I'm confident.
Would you be confident going into the season with Baker as your quarterback?
I think I would. I don't think I would mind it. I don't think.
Yeah, I would rather have Aaron Rodgers.
You'd rather have Aaron Rodgers than Baker Mayfield?
Yeah, you know what Aaron Rodgers is going to give you.
I guess that's fair to say.
He's not going to throw 21 interceptions.
That's fair. That's fair.
Never going to happen.
But I don't think Baker makes those same mistakes this year, though. There's not a shot.
That's why I said he's got to prove it.
I agree. Yeah, I mean, yeah, sure, he's got to prove it.
I know the team improved, but I want to see if he can make the most of his talent this year and get out of his head, be a little more confident, and do it.
Yeah, I mean, he's
the high on Baker, huh?
Yeah, I mean, I see where he's coming from, though, man. I mean, personally,
he's got all the talent.
Personally, the ad of Conklin is huge for Baker. That is the offensive tackle that every football team in America needs, and the Browns got it, and that's what they've been missing for all these years, and they finally paid a lineman to come play. That's going to be the game changer for him. That's going to give him more time to see the field and learn how to read defenses. The offense is going to be 10 times better than it was last year. Beckham is going to be 10 times better than he was. Beckham is a top 4 receiver in the NFL, talent-wise. He can produce. He makes Baker a better quarterback in fantasy, breaking off those huge touchdowns. I don't know. I don't know if I can agree with you for stay away. I think I'd be confident going into week 1 with Baker as my quarterback 1. I think you could ride his hand all season.
I'll take Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb.
All right. So anyway, we'll walk right into the next topic here, bro. We're gonna talk about rookies. Talk a little bit about rookies. The rookie frenzy we got in the NFL right now. A lot of quarterbacks came out of the draft this year that people are very high on. Few of them were talked about to be Brady's back replacement. Aaron Rodgers' replacement. All these old quarterbacks replacements, and a lot of them. We got Hebert taking over for Phillip Rivers. Joe Burrow's taking over for Andy Dalton. It's a frenzy right now. It's a frenzy. We're going to do some spotlights, though. I'm not going to talk about every individual quarterback. I'm going to talk about Justin Hebert, and Kevin's going to talk about Joe Burrows. But I will tell you right now, some other ones that got picked in the draft that you should probably just, guys you should know. Obviously, you got Tua out of Alabama, went to Miami. He might not be the starter right off the rip because of the injuries coming back from. It'll probably be Fitzpatrick, but he's definitely will be the starter by the end of the year. There's no doubt in my mind. So yeah, I mean you got Tua, and then you got Jordan Love, the guy the Packers picked. I guess probably replace Aaron Rodgers. They picked him 26th from Utah State. Then you got Jalen Hurts, who got picked by Philly, round 2 out of Oklahoma. And then you got my favorite, Jake Luton, out of Oregon State, in the 6th round, pick 10 by Jacksonville, who I think is going to take over for Minshew this year.
Oh, no. Gardner to Sharp all day.
Jake Luton to Sharp. But I'll kick it off. I'll go first. I'll talk about Hebert. I'm an Oregon fan, so when we decided to do this, I had to jump all over Hebert. I was big on Hebert the past couple years in college football. He kind of tore it up his senior year, had 3,400 yards, 32 touchdowns, 6 indies, and then junior year he had 3,100 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He's a hometown Oregon kid, so that might have helped his numbers a little bit. He's huge, 6'6", massive hands. He's got the football smarts that you want your professional quarterback to have. He's likely to back up Tyrod Taylor to start, as people are saying, but I do not think that's the case. I think Justin Herbert takes over the job in training camp. He's got tremendous arm strength. He's very accurate downfield. He's kind of got a sidearm release, so he kind of it fits the balls in over the middle. He's got talented receivers in Keenan Allen and Mike Williams. Hunter Henry's a stud. I think he could step in. I don't necessarily think he's a fancy option right away, right off the rip, but he's definitely my favorite rookie out of the draft. That's not so obvious. A lot of people thought he'd slip down to the bottom tier, like where Jordan Love was getting picked, or if the Pats took him, or if it was one of those teams that have an older quarterback. But he went pretty early. He went to the Chargers at I think it was number 11. I think it was 11. I think he takes over the job. Like I said, I don't think Tyrod Taylor is the starting quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers. I think it's going to be Justin Herbert. So, I mean, dynasty leagues or rookie draft-only leagues, this is a guy I think you should stash in your roster. I think he could end up being a top-tier quarterback in the NFL down the line. So, I like him out of Oregon. I mean, you like Tyrod Taylor, Kev? You think he's really going to be the starting quarterback over this guy? Kev? We lost Kevin. Oh no. Kevin! Hold on, guys. We lost him. There he is. You there?
I heard you all the time, man. What happened?
You froze. Alright, we're back. Go ahead.
Anyway.
We got him. We're back. I said, you think Tyrod Taylor's going to be the starter over Justin Herbert?
To start, yeah.
Yeah. You think he takes the job the whole year, or you don't think Herbert steps in at all?
Oh, you probably will.
Yeah. I like his talent, man. I watched a lot of his...
Magic's going to start over Tua to start the year 2.
Yeah. That's probably the smart thing to do now in the NFL.
I mean, the numbers he put up with Parker last year, I mean, they were good.
Yeah.
That team had no business winning 5 games. But anyway, yeah, I think Herbert will take the job. Not right away, though.
Yeah.
I think he's not. I'm not going to look into him from a fantasy perspective just yet, especially with any of the rookies. Really, we're not having the offseason they're used to. That makes me nervous for all of them, even Burrow.
That's true. That's a different way to look at it.
Together the same way. They're not having the same kind of training camp. They're probably not going to have any kind of preseason games. So that's why I definitely think Tyrod's going to start.
Yeah, I think Herbert tears it up though. I don't know. Keenan Allen is an amazing receiver, very undervalued in the NFL. I think personally. So it's I think it might be a Herbert to Keenan Allen show. Hunter Henry.
Right. They got weapons. I feel like all of their weapons except Austin Eckler right now are ranked a lot lower than they usually would be because of Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah, that's why. I don't even think Tyrod starts the season off as the quarterback. I think it's Herbert. I mean, if there is a training camp, I think it'll be Herbert. If not, if there's no training camp and the season starts without it or something like that, he probably won't be the starter. They'll probably just give it to Tyrod, but I don't know. We'll see. Your guy's definitely going to be the starter, though. There's no question about that.
Be the starter. He's the number 1 pick in the draft.
Yeah.
5,671 passing yards, 60 touchdowns. 60. They said it was statistically the greatest college football season of all time for Joe Burrow last year. Nah. He comes to the NFL, the worst team in football. So, he's not going to do that. But he has some weapons. I think he could be sneaky good. He might even be usable fantasy, especially in a 2 QB league. I mean, Tyler Boyd would fill his slot role right now where Deasan Jackson was at LSU. And whatever AJ Green has left in the tank, he's a talent, obviously. They got T. Higgins from Clemson, another talent.
Yeah, they have some talented receivers.
One of the best running backs in the league.
The Joe Show.
Showed it at the end of last year. I mean, he was doing it with on the 2-14 team. He was putting up like top 5 fantasy numbers for the end of last year. So the ability is there. So I think Burrow, he comes right in. The problem is, like I just said, we're not sure how he's going to match with his receivers.
Yeah.
They're not having a conventional offseason.
It's tough for the rookie quarterbacks this year.
I think in a couple of years, we could be talking about him as a stud.
I mean, he definitely has the potential to be. You have to at least consider it. You can't assume he's a bust right off the rip.
Crazy accurate. 76% passer last year.
That's crazy.
I like Tyler Boyd this year. I'm going to stay away from AJ Green. The injuries he's been having. I think he's another one like Alshon Jeffrey to me. Another year older. I'm going to stay away from that. But I think T. Higgins and Joe Burrow end up, and they could connect, and that team could come out of nowhere. Not this year.
Right.
Maybe in a couple of years. They did add some defensive help.
Yeah, that's big.
I still think they're bottom of the division. Sure.
For sure. He's got the talent to be a star quarterback in the NFL. He's got the age on him already. He's older than, as Hatino said, he's older than Darnold, which is true.
He's 23 already, and Darnold just turned 23, right?
Yeah. So that doesn't really play an issue to me, honestly. I mean, AJ Green could be a bounce back candidate, maybe not. If he is, that's a stud receiver for him to throw to a veteran. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins is going to be a weapon in Cincinnati. They're going to want them to pay.
John Ross is still on the team.
Ross still on the team, even though he pulls his hamstring every game. And then you got Joey Mix, dude, and he's proved that he can be an RB1 for you year in and year out.
The 3-down back. He's going to be a bell cow.
Yep. So since he could be, I think last place. Well, we'll talk about that in a little bit. Actually, it's next. But yeah. So I mean, rookie quarterbacks this year in general, I think you kind of stay away if you can, just because it hasn't really been the same offseason per se. So you stay away from them. If I had to pick right now, my number one rookie quarterback would have to be Burrow. You'd have to pick Burrow just because he's guaranteed the start. He's guaranteed.
He's the only one.
They're going to be playing from behind a lot. He's going to be throwing the ball. They're going to want to see him throw the ball. So he's guaranteed numbers. Then I go Hebert number 2, just because I think he has tremendous. His arm strength is crazy good. He throws very, very, very well deep, which is huge in the NFL. Dumps the ball off to Eckler. I think that offense is stacked around him, so that's a good play for him. They put Tua at 3, Love at 4, Hurts at 5, and then my boy Lutton. I'll stick him at 6. I'll give him his own spot because I love the dude. I'm a Jake Lutton fan. Oregon State. But anyway, next we're gonna talk a little bit about the AFC North. What we think, how it'll finish. We'll give our opinion on each team. I kind of made a graphic for each team with like what the headlines of the newspaper could be for them at the end of the year. I think this is probably one of the funnest teams in the NFL to watch. It's always an aggressive game on the defensive side of the ball. You never know what you're really going to get when you're playing games. The Bengals could go shut out the Ravens. You never really know. You know what I mean? It's just not that would happen. It probably wouldn't. But first, we'll talk about the Cincinnati Bengals. We were just talking about Joe Burrows, so we'll hop right into him. We were just talking about Joe Mixon. A tale of two Joes, man. It's a rookie showcase in Cincy. He's going to be throwing the ball to T. Higgins a lot. That's going to be his guy. Even if A.J. Green plays, their offensive line has improved a little bit. Last year, they weren't... Where'd they go last year? Worst in the NFL. 2-14.
2-14.
So, they're going to improve a little bit, I think, on that aspect. You'd think you'd have to win more than 2 games.
3-13.
3-13. I don't know.
They could probably win 4.
Yeah. I think they improved though. I think Burrows is a step forward for him. I think at the end of the season, you kind of look at it as you did last year. You know, they're not going to make the playoffs. They're not a great team, but they're building in the right direction. Um, so they added a bunch of help on the defensive side of the ball. So I mean,
I saw some names, a couple corners: Trey Waynes, Mackenzie Alexander, and Von Bell at safety. So they're definitely looking to improve that defense because they were torched last year.
Yeah.
But from a fantasy perspective, though, this year, I'm really only interested in Joe Mixon and Tyler Boyd. What do you think, Rye?
I'd probably take. I mean, you want to stay away from AJ Green because of his injuries, but if he comes out of training camp and he's healthy, you have to consider him in fantasy football.
I mean, you are getting him really late right now,
Yeah.
too. So
You have to consider him.
I would just rather take an upside guy.
I would roll
A
Mixon.
rookie.
I could roll with Mixon. Mixon's a bell
Depending on
cow.
how my draft goes.
Huh?
Depending on how my draft goes, I would rather just take like an upside younger wide receiver, even a rookie over AJ Green at this point. But
So AJ Green or Golden Tate?
each draft's gonna be a little different.
AJ Green or Golden Tate?
Green. Tate's still old, and he's like the fourth option on the team, I think.
So you go
Maybe
AJ.
third.
You go AJ Green.
I'd go Green over Tate. Yeah.
All right. What about Marquise Brown?
Give me Hollywood.
That's where I have him. I have him floating in that area right there. I have him with Tate, Julian Edelman, Marquise Brown. So I think fantasy wise, I think I'd probably it's like I go Joe Mixon, obviously bell cow, AJ Green. You'd have to consider Tyler Boyd. I mean, they have a lot of valuable fantasy upside in their team this year, man.
Taking Boyd over Green.
Yeah, okay. I mean, Boyd had a great year last year as number one receiver, so he's proved he can do that. But I think he slides in the slot. I think AJ Green has a healthy year. You got him on the outside with Higgins. Boyd in the slot. He's obviously going to have value.
Good place, though.
Huh?
He's been doing all the damage. Boyd's been in the slot, though. He's still doing damage out of the slot. Burrow, he's just thrown to the slot receiver.
Yeah. I think Burrow's a weapon in himself.
I still like Boyd.
Yeah. Next
And like
week.
you said, they're going to be playing from behind.
Yeah. You there?
Where are we going next, Ryan?
All right. You froze again on me. Okay. Next, we got the Ravens. Ravens dominate again. I think, obviously, yes, they dominate again. Lamar Jackson is a freak. Mark Ingram's a freak. They added J.K. Dobbins in the draft. You got Hollywood Brown healthy this year. They drafted that Porsche guy. They like him a lot. They got talent everywhere. Mark Andrews at tight end. They lost Hayden Hurst, but they lost Marshall Yanda, which is big. It's a big loss for him on the offensive line. But I still think they win the division. Fantasy all over the board. I think you can obviously draft Lamar. You can obviously draft Mark Ingram. You can draft Hollywood Brown. You can draft Mark Andrews as your tight end one. J.K. Dobbins could end up being a flex player this year. They still got Gus Edwards. He's still a valuable option on their team. So, you have to watch out. The running backs could be tricky, fantasy-wise. They could end up being a committee backfield, but I guess it depends on Lamar. I think it's still a Lamar Ingram show. I don't think they take away that much, but honestly, last year they both were RB1s and quarterback ones. Mark had a couple RB2 weeks, but he was a consistent running back all year. So, even with all the running backs they already have, I think you could start pretty much everybody on their offense. And their defense is always stacked. So, I look for them to dominate again. Easy. The division sucks.
They added Calais Campbell.
Calais Campbell, that's right. What a big ad, dude.
Eric Wolf.
Yeah, so they got vicious dogs. Vicious dogs up front.
They got Marlon Humphrey, Marcus Peters, Jimmy Smith. That defense I mean, I don't think we're really going to talk fantasy defense on this show, but I do have them ranked as the number one.
Yeah, I mean it's tough not to. I mean, well, the other team in the division's pretty close.
Pittsburgh's right there.
Pittsburgh's right there, but I think we both got the Ravens finishing number one. So there's nothing really to argue here. I don't think anybody can really argue it. This division could be competitive outside of the Ravens. So like you could see the Bengals, the Browns, and the Steelers all have great games, competitive games amongst themselves for second place, and then the Ravens would just be by themselves. That could very well happen. The only team that could really give them any comp, I would think, because of their defense, is our next team, which is the Steelers. The bounce back, the return of the curtain. Their defense is stacked. Bringing in Fitzpatrick last year was huge.
Changed everything.
Yeah, it changed that whole dynamic. They were winning games with Dalvin Hodges because of their defense. With Mason Rudolph. I like Pittsburgh this year. I think Ben coming back will help them. I don't think, like you said, I think he's definitely a guy you don't draft or anything like that, fantasy-wise. I like them, though. It's Pittsburgh. They're always a competitive team. If the defense is good, they'll be good.
Yeah.
Their receivers, you got Juju, Deontay Johnson, James Conner. Well, who knows what will happen with James Conner this year, if he stays healthy or not. I mean, he's missed 11 games already in his career. Could be a Benny Schnell year. Who knows? That's probably the only place I'd stay away from right now, outside of Ben, would be the running backs. I don't think I'd be comfortable drafting Juju either. I don't mind Deontay. I like him. He's a nice sleeper receiver this year. I like to have him on my bench or as a wide receiver 3. If you're in a 3-receiver league, which we are. But yeah, what about you? I know you like Deontay. Did we lose him again, bro? It's whenever he makes that face, bro. Oh my god. I'm sorry. That's Kev, though. Oh no. That's twice. Are you there?
Yeah, buddy.
I don't know, but I lost you again, man.
Yeah. I'm here the whole time. I don't know what's happening. I hear you.
You froze on me again. Alright, well anyway, the steel curtain.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I have them finishing second in the division. They added Ebron too. Not big on him, but just another guy to throw the ball to. Chase Claypool, rookie.
Yeah.
Probably gonna end up being their third wide receiver. I don't like James Washington very much. I'll take Juju at the right time, and I like Deontay a lot.
Yeah, I like Deontay. I mean, I wouldn't say he's a wide receiver 2 yet, but he could be. He could very well be the wide receiver 2 this year. Juju just makes me nervous. I can't invest in a player like that. Someone who was supposed to be a top 10 receiver last year, finishing really low. Yeah, it turns me off a lot. I still got him pretty close, though.
Ben's his guy.
He's right outside of the top 10 on mine. I think I'm at 12, but I don't know. All right, next we got the Cleveland Browns. Browns disappointed again. Last year was a very disappointing year for the Browns. Baker Mayfield was poop. Odell Beckham was poop. Outside of Nick Chubb and Jarvis Landry, their offense really didn't produce much numbers for us, fantasy-wise. They did add Austin Hooper and Conklin this year. I think that Conklin addition is going to make Baker a better quarterback, in my opinion. Give him some protection on the ball. Make him sit in the pocket a little bit longer. Help him find OBJ downfield. I think OBJ has a bounce-back year as well. But I think they finished third in the division behind the Steelers. It'll be tough. It'll be close between them and Pittsburgh. But they'll be better than Cincy, and obviously the Ravens dominate. So I don't think they disappoint again. I think they are better than they were last year. Maybe 9-7, 8-8 at best. At worst. I don't think they finish under 500. That'd be crazy if they do. You'd have to if they finish under 500 this year, that team's a failure, and they have to reconsider Baker Mayfield. but I don't think that happens. I think 9-7, right behind Pittsburgh 10-6. I'll give Cincy 4-12, and then the Ravens will go 14-2. So, you think Browns turning around?
A little bit. In their schedule, they start at Baltimore, but then they get Cincinnati and Washington. Then they get the Cowboys, Colts, Steelers. And they get Bengals and the Raiders. I mean, they have some winnable games there. They get the Giants and the Jets later in the season. So I like the 8-8, 9-7 call. They obviously have all the talent in the world, and they brought in a new coach. But the Ravens and the Steelers, they're going to be better.
I think they'll be close, though, with the Steelers. I think the Steelers are that much better than the Browns.
Yeah, I think they're both going to end up being around that 9-7, 8-8. And we've added a new spot to the playoffs, correct?
I think that's next year, though. I think that's next year. I don't think that's this year. I think that's next year.
Hey, like one of those teams at 9-7, 8-8 can end up making the playoffs now.
Yeah.
Too. So.
Yeah.
But I love Nick Chubb, and I like Kareem Hunt as my RB2.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like Beckham. It was just he had a really bad year, and it was because Baker had a really bad year. But all of Beckham's receiving metrics were down. So I don't know. He makes me a little bit nervous. He's ever going to get back to close to what he was on the Giants. But what do you think of Odell?
I like him back. I think
Obviously,
he's back.
he's a top 5 talent, but do you think he'll ever get back to that spot?
Yeah. If he's going to do it, it's going to be this year with Baker Mayfield. It has to be this year. If he doesn't do it this year, then...
It's not going to happen.
No. But I think it could happen. So, yeah, I think everybody's probably got the Ravens number 1. And there's really no conversation elsewhere. You know what I mean? It's just tough. So next we're going to do talk about Cam Newton real quick. Just because Cam Newton has always been a top-tier quarterback in fantasy football. Last year was his first year. He was actually hurt and took time out to heal and rest. He played through injuries his whole career. I think last year with him sitting out did nothing but help him. Is going to help him this year. I think it was the smartest play on him. And then he got the opportunity to come to a team with a coach like Bill Belichick. I think he's out to prove everybody wrong. Based off his social media, everything that we've been reading, I think Cam Newton could bounce back. I think he could end up being a quarterback 1. And this is not a hometown opinion. I am not being biased whatsoever. I'm being serious. His interception numbers are too high, and Bill Belichick wouldn't bring him into New England if he didn't plan on fixing that. Because it doesn't happen in New England. You know, Tom Brady's not going to throw 20 interceptions. No quarterback will. They won't start. So I think Newton coming here was his best decision for himself to improve as a quarterback. This is going to be a big year for him. I really think so. I mean, if you think about it, if he doesn't prove himself now, he's done. Like, he's done. He won't get on another team. He will not be signed. This will be it. And it's crazy to me that it took this long for him to get a shot, because last year was the only year he was really hurt. Like, out with time. You know what I mean? Like, it was the only time in his career that he actually sat out. There was there was 2 games in 2016, whatever it was. But, I mean, the dude's an absolute monster in the red zone. Josh McDaniels' playbook is going to boom. He's going to be able to do so many more things. I think a lot of people are underestimating the talent the Patriots have on offense just because they don't have Tom Brady. If Newton can come into New England and play football the way he plays football, it could be a dangerous team in New England this year that a lot of people try to look away from because Brady's gone. And they're just like, all right, we need to move on. The Patriots are done. I don't think they are. I mean, I'm trying to be honest with you guys. This is not a hometown opinion. But I think Cam Newton, if he's healthy, man, and this past year actually gave him the time to heal and he's ready to ball like he says he is in all these Instagram videos and stuff, this could be a scary team in New England once again. And Cam Newton could be a scary fantasy quarterback once again. Could be an every week starter for you. I don't know if you agree with me on this, Kev. Right now, I snuck him back into my top 15. I got a huge feeling that he might end up in my top 10 by the start of the season. He's already working out with N'Keal Harry. You know, I mean, Edelman is a vet, man. He's going to play the slot for him like he's probably never had before in his career. You know, and then you got some rookie tight ends, but, I mean, honestly, I don't think they really matter. In the running back game, I don't think James White can be like a Christian McCaffrey at all on any level, but he's still a good running back out of the backfield, so that's another aspect that Cam Newton will have that he's not going to lose by leaving Carolina. You know, he's going to have the bruiser.
I think it opens up the other running backs, too.
Right. They got the bruiser, Michael and Damian Harris.
I don't know if it's going to be Sony Michel or Harris or Burkhead, but whoever it is, it's going to open things up for them. They're not going to be struggling to get back to the line of scrimmage like we were last year.
He's had a rushing.
I mean, we were lining up. Last year we were lining up. Everyone knew we were running the ball. Everyone knew when we were going to throw the ball. I think this is going to really help the offense out a lot. At least expand the playbook. I'm not 100% sold Cam still has it. I'm not quite as high on him as you are, but I'm definitely excited.
I mean,
and I think Julian Edelman is ranked, definitely ranked too low.
But
right now.
If you look at Cam Newton in the past, he's never had a bad year in fantasy. Last year was his first year.
Down the field, he's good.
Last year was his first year he was hurt. So what is it he's not proving to you? You know what I mean? Like every year he finishes inside. He has never finished outside the top 10 ever in fantasy football. That right there alone, that makes him a quarterback one every year, in my opinion. That's a guy you can draft, and maybe not up in tier 2 or 3, but you could. It would be like a tier 3 quarterback every year. You know, right on the fringe. That's a guy. I mean, I don't see how he needs to prove anything.
I'm just a little bit.
58 rushing touchdowns.
I'm a little bit nervous about the rushing.
I'm
not 100% sure what he's going to look like.
He's run the ball over 100 times every year, besides last year. And then, in 2016 as well, but he had 97. He's got, I don't know. I think Josh McDaniels is really going to open this up for himself and make his offense better than it already is with a talent that he could very well come into New England and have a better year than Tom Brady did with the same people. A much better year.
He could.
I mean, granted, you could even argue that he's got better players. He's got a healthy Mohamed Sanu. He's got 2 new tight ends that are going to play some football for him, and not Matt Lacoste and some other guy that we've signed off for the basketball team. But yeah, I think Cam Newton bounces back. I think it's something that we had to talk about, just because, I mean, we are New England Patriot fans, but I think Cam Newton's not getting enough respect. And I think he's really starting to show it that it's bothering him, and that's not going to do anything but produce higher numbers, in my opinion. I think it's disrespectful for people to think
it's just amazing to me that we're the only team that gave him an offer.
That's what I'm saying. It surprises me.
Why not the Bears?
The Bears.
I mean, they're really going to sign Nick Foles, but they couldn't offer Cam Newton a 1-year deal.
That's crazy to me, man. It really is. It's strange.
Doesn't make any sense.
It's strange. Yeah, I mean, I think it's disrespectful to rank some of these other guys in front of him. Just because he had one year of injuries. So Tom Brady tore his ACL. I'm not saying that Newton's on the same level as Brady at all, but he was out for a whole year, and he came back, and he was fine. So why can't Newton be out for a whole year and come back and be fine? So I think if you go into your draft in August and you're in round 7 and you're like, I need a quarterback, should I just wait or should I pick somebody? I think at that point at round 7, you can take Cam Newton and you would be good at quarterback for the whole year, in my opinion. I think he could be the quarterback one for your team for the whole year. And then if he gets hurt, I mean, that's That's when you
I
bring
don't
in.
know about round 7 though, Ryan. I mean, you can probably get Matt Ryan in round 7 right now.
I'd rather have Newton than Matt Ryan.
Really?
Yep.
All right. I think I'm still he's a little lower than Matt Ryan right now.
Yeah, I mean, I got him lower than Matt Ryan, but not very much lower. So right now I got him at 15. I got Daniel Jones, Matt Ryan, Aaron Rodgers, Carson Wentz, Baker Mayfield, Drew Brees, and Tom Brady out of him. He could easily be slotted ahead of Tom Brady right under Josh Allen. Easily. So
I know it's so much just up in the air. Like especially, I mean, us as Patriots fans, I really am not sure what to even expect.
you can't expect anything besides
I mean,
what he
we
did in
haven't
Carolina.
seen anything but Tom Brady in that system for 20 years. So it's just
Think about the possibilities of the playbook. Like the playbook he had with Brady was phenomenal. Imagine if he has a guy like Newton in there, it's even better. Who knows what he can do? So I'm interested. I think it was something we had to talk about. But we're gonna end the show on one more topic here, and this is
I do think
oh.
Edelman and Harry are definitely being drafted way too late, though. But let's move on.
Yeah, I think Harry's too late. I think that's gonna change too. I think all these numbers are gonna change. It's still early, but we're gonna end the show right here. This is gonna be the last topic. This is the question of the week. I did ask on Instagram and no one answered, so we're just gonna talk about it ourselves. These guys 1 and 2 on everybody's board. You know, they're not outside the top 2. It's Pat Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. I got Patrick at number 1. Kevin has Lamar at number 1. You could easily flip-flop both, but it's a question that you have to ask if it comes down to it and you're picking a quarterback, and this is the tier 1, and these are the only 2 quarterbacks in tier 1 right now. You got to decide between Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson. Who you going with? You know, that's the question. I personally go Patrick Mahomes. The dude's an absolute animal. I mean, he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now, skill-wise. Any-wise. I mean, he did just get paid. I don't think that'll affect him like it affects some people in the NFL. Last year, he only played in 12 games. 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. That's insane. That's stupid. That's numbers that, you know, like Josh Allen, DeShaun Watson all put up in a full season. So, I mean, and then 2018 at 5,050 touchdowns. Got Tyreek Hill back this year, 100%. You got Travis Kelce, as always. You got Sammy Watkins. You got the new running back. I mean, it's... what's the other guy's name? Hardman. They got Hardman still. And they got talent everywhere. Speed everywhere. I love Lamar. I mean, this is a hard thing to debate because they're both phenomenal quarterbacks. But it's between the two, I have to go Mahomes. I have to go Mahomes. Super Bowl champ. Probably would have been MVP if he was healthy all year, in my honest opinion. Yeah, so I got Mahomes number 1. I got him bouncing back to probably about 5,500 yards, maybe a little bit more. And he might touch that 50 touchdown territory again. So, you can't really, yeah. Lamar, I mean, Lamar last year was good. I mean, he wasn't bad. He was the best quarterback in fantasy last year. But can he reproduce that is what I ask myself when I make these rankings. I don't think he can. But you think he can, Kev?
I think, first of all, you can't go wrong with either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're kind of in a league of their own right now in quarterback rankings. And if I'm going to reach one of them, well, it's not a reach, but it's probably going to have to go into the second round to get them. I'm probably just going to chase that rushing upside of Lamar. I think Mahomes is the safer guy, but give me a guy who just ran for over 1,200 yards, and he only has 7 rushing touchdowns. So if he keeps a few more than Mark Ingram touchdowns, I mean, he gets 10 rushing. It could be scary rushing numbers as long as he stays healthy. I think his passing touchdowns are going to come down a little bit, but the yards could go up. I don't think he might not throw for 36 again, but he's got Hollywood. Should be 100%. Andrews is a stud. Like you said, they drafted Porsche
or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so much talent. And until he gets injured, I'm just going to ride on Lamar's legs to be the difference maker for me right now. And I don't see anywhere close to that kind of rushing production. Even if I don't think Mahomes is going to throw 50. If I'm going to take Lamar, if I'm reaching into the second round for a quarterback, give me the guy with the scary upside.
Okay, so you got pick 12, right? You have to go Pat. You have to go Lamar Jackson at 12, right?
But you probably have to go Lamar at 13.
Same
I mean,
thing.
it's not like it matters because you're getting 2 picks, but
Right.
yeah, I think by the time it gets back to you, in most leagues, those guys are gone.
Right.
At that point.
So you're saying at 12, you could have Pat Mahomes, Lamar. You take Lamar.
Probably gonna go with whatever best running back and best wide receiver.
So you don't.
There now.
Okay. See,
But
personally,
if I have 12 pick in any drafts, I don't know if I'm actually gonna do that. But would you do that, right? Are you really shooting to get those guys this year, or are you gonna wait?
if I got 12 and Mahomes is sitting there at 12, I'm going Mahomes. I'm not getting a tier 1 running back at 12. I'm getting a tier 2 and probably 2 tier 2 running backs at 12. Right? Or I could get, Devontae Adams and a running back. I think I'd rather take quarterback 1 who could potentially repeat those 2018 numbers and maybe get his little hookup at Tyreek Hill. I think if you got 12 pick in the draft, I think that could be a nice little pairing you could do. It's risky. One of them gets hurt, the numbers, falter. But that's with anybody. I mean, I like Pat Mahomes. How do you not like Pat Mahomes? I know you do. I'm just saying, I don't and then I wouldn't be comfortable though taking Lamar and a receiver or Lamar and a running back at 12. I'd be, I'd be comfortable knowing that I have Patrick Mahomes and potentially an RB2 fringe 1 or get a Tyreek Hill at 13. You know what I mean? I think I'd be more comfortable with that than having Lamar and Kenyon Drake, just say. You know what I mean? I think I'd rather have Mahomes and Kenyon Drake than Lamar and Kenyon Drake. I think I'd be more happy with that, but I don't know. It was a fun question. I would hope that somebody else would answer us, but no one did, so. It's tough to debate because, like you said, they're the best. I mean, the only thing you can really debate is who you could be more comfortable with.
Mahomes was the one that got injured last year, so I say he's a safer pick, but is he really?
Right, you're not wrong. He did get hurt last year. No, that definitely plays a role.
Lamar didn't get hurt.
That's right. Lamar ran the ball how many times last year?
I agree with you. Like 170.
Yeah.
Or almost 1,300 yards.
I don't think he can repeat that at all. I don't know. We'll see though. I mean,
Lamar. I don't think the offense is changing that much.
Lamar won me a league, bro.
Because they still really only have one real wide receiver.
Yeah.
And they're going to be pounding the rock, and Lamar's still going to keep it a ton. Like we said, though, you really can't go wrong.
Yeah. Well, that's going to wrap it up. There's some guys that we didn't talk about that we both like. Ryan Tannehill was a guy we talked about last week that Kevin's a big fan of. We didn't really dive into him. Matthew Stafford's always a good quarterback in the NFL. He's been injury-ridden the past couple of years, but it's another guy that we like. Matt Ryan's both in our top 10s, I think. Yep, top 10. Obviously you got Drew Brees and what's his name? The guy from the Jared Goff. So, if you guys have any questions, you're still watching, thank you for watching. Feel free to ask any questions here, or if you don't get it in time, make sure you check us out on Instagram. Ask us questions there, whenever you'd like. All the questions get answered on the show. Hopefully one day this show will have flooded with questions, and we just keep this rolling. But we had a ton of fun today, Kev. Thank you for coming on again, as always, bro. Looking forward to next week. We talk about some running backs. Stay tuned on Instagram for the Players Spotlight for Kevin tomorrow. Not sure who it's going to be. It's a surprise for me as well. So we will find that out tomorrow. And then I'll be releasing the top 10 running back list sometime this week. And then another Players Spotlight on Friday. So I'll see you at your daughter's birthday party this weekend. And I'll see everybody else in a few minutes on Apex if you want to keep hanging out here. But Kev, as always, bro, thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
All right, man. I will talk to you tomorrow, okay?
Yes, sir.
Later, bud.
Later.